Hey guys, and welcome to the show. Today we are here with Christian Razzo, Farbo Crypto, and Crypto Aiden. We're here today as part of Crypto Consensus. We are a new and upcoming group who are going to talk about the general sentiment of the market. We're going to give you guys charts, and we're going to be here throughout the whole bear market.
We've been here through bear markets. We've been here through bull markets. We've been in since, 2020. We've had all the ups and downs. And now we're going to put our knowledge of the past into the present future.
Exactly.
Present and the future.
Well said, Eden. We are here today with the boys. Christian Razzo, he's well educated in the macroeconomic markets. He'll give us a rundown of the NASDAQ and the dollar index and Bitcoin in a macro style presentation. We've got Crypto Aiden here, who he loves.
I just like Chan.
He loves his short term, the 1 hour, 4 hour. That's his stuff, I'll be talking about general sentiment as well, a bit of psychology in the market, and yeah, just overall vibes, lads. So Raz, would you like to start us off? What are your thoughts on the current, what's happening with Bitcoin price action, and just general thoughts?
Yeah. So right now, the market is really boring. Would you agree? Like, it's just there's really no movement at all.
Nothing. Everyone's just waiting and waiting. You just feeling boredom.
Like, I mean, even though there has been movement, we can see here, like, within this kind of 25K to 30K range from from March to where are we now, September? Like, there's been nothing really apart from that. Obviously, in the last 2 weeks, we've had this break of this trend, which was kind of insinuating a bull market this year, but this trend has gone now. And I know many investors like yourself have turned very bearish on the market. Would you like to explain, why breaking this trend line here is so detrimental in many eyes of investors?
Yeah, look, I'll start and then Aiden, you can take over. Look, to be honest, I found it was a critical support for, as you can see, we touched it around 3 times. We had that breakdown, which is quite
touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, and then we've broken through.
Exactly. That break was quite serious because everyone was hoping for we had a retest of is that the 50 or the 200 day where we touched it?
That's the 200 day, I think.
So we had a touch of the 200, and everyone thought, me myself included, thought, oh, this is where we're going to bounce. Sure, a lot of investors long that point, and look what happened. We had how big was that? How big was that dump, Razzo, from the 200 day?
From here?
From the top of that, see where the big red candles, now where it touched the 200. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That point exactly.
So that's nearly 20%.
Wow. Okay, that's a big move, especially in So yeah, I think we could definitely. I like to look at. I'll show my charts later, but as you can see, breaking that uptrend, I think we're going to test the lows of that. So that could bring us down to the 16, 17K level. Nothing. Yeah, around 20. Wow, that's a big move, especially considering like the last few months have been,
Yeah, that's a terrible move. And I think, what's really scary about this move is, like you mentioned, right? We've broken through the 200 and the 50-day EMA on the daily chart, which is never a good sign. This does bring back a lot of fear for investors who were in 2021, because we broke through this in 2021 and we were kind of sitting at the 30K mark. We got manipulated. We made a double top, 68, 69,000 point. And then we came down to the $15,000 levels, which was, a 75% dump, 80% dump nearly on Bitcoin, almost 99% on every single altcoin out there. So that is significant. Is there any potential of a bounce here at this 25,800 mark, 25,400 mark? I mean, we can see we've come down to 24,000. There was a wick there, but is this an area for support, or do you think investors should be, very cautious right now? What's your guys' opinions on that?
Razzo, take your screen off. Let me have mine.
Yeah.
Can I just, before we do that, can I just say, Raz, okay, Aiden, you go, and then I'll state my points. All good.
Okay, state your name, yeah. Okay, can you guys see my chart?
Not yet.
Can you guys see my chart?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Maybe make it big screen. Yeah, okay, cool.
Is that better?
Yeah. Cheers, Crypto Aiden.
No worries. Let's look at the daily.
I'll show my chart after.
So for me, I'm basically just looking at this sideways range here. This range here, I'm going to say as long as we're trading below this level here, I don't see any big moves upwards, because we're also tracking this trend line going down here. So we're just following this. And then this bottom support here, which we can see this support at the bottom has acted as support and resistance multiple times. We've got one here, we've broken through here, come above, touched it again, broken up again, come down, and now we're just hovering in a sideways market along this trend. So for me, I don't see anything happening in the market in terms of big moves, whether it's upwards or downwards, for a while. I do think that with the news,
we just keep trending sideways is what you're saying for a while.
I think currently, if you look at the macroeconomic environment, there's nothing suggesting that we should go into a massive bull market now. The stocks in the stock market and the Nasdaq, everything's doing well. It's an upward trajectory, but there's nothing. People are very cautious. They're thinking that there's going to be a recession next year. Interest rates are high. People's cost of living is rising. Everything's up. People, for me, to put money from stocks, and because a lot of people that have their money in investments such as stocks and bonds and stuff, and if that all does well and they feel they're really confident and they've got extra money, I feel that money kind of moves into crypto normally. Right now, I don't feel that money is going to move unless something in the macroeconomic market happens, or if a massive news event comes out, such as a Bitcoin ETF being approved, which we know many wealth management funds have filed, including BlackRock, which is one of the largest wealth management funds in the world.
Yeah.
And alongside there's about 8, I think. There's about 8 funds.
I think that's a good point, but obviously we've heard about the ETF for a while now. This is not new information. So I'm a little bit skeptical on the point that the ETF launch is going to spark a massive kind of movement to the upside, because I think it is pretty much priced in. I mean, I could be wrong, right? But I think that's something that we need to consider, because that is not new news. If you wake up tomorrow and you see it, it's kind of oh, this was coming.
And saying that, Raz, there have been a lot of times where they've baited the market in saying, oh, the ETF is about to be accepted. And then 2 days later, they moved the date. Apparently, recently, they just rejected it, and they added another 45 days to the approval.
Yeah.
So, with the SEC now, they're coming after crypto. They want it regulated. They want the CBDC so they can control our money. And, at the end of the day, crypto is going to have to lag until the US government is ready to accept it. We're going to be in sideways market. Raz, I just wanted you to bring up your chart again. I wanted to look at those 250-day MAs, something that I personally think are very useful indicators. So we have an upcoming death cross, actually, which if you just want to indicate where that is about to happen, maybe zoom in a little bit. In recent times, when we've had a death cross or a golden cross, the terms are quite serious. Death, negative connotations, and oftentimes we do see the inverse. Actually, we see a death cross may happen, and in essence, we have a pump. That happened maybe, I think it was the 2017, 2018 market, if you can find it, Raz. If not, all good. Where we had the death cross, we pumped around 10-15%, and then ultimately the following move was a downtrend. So Raz, what are your thoughts about that, the death cross affecting the sentiment of the market? Maybe people are willing to short. Sorry, bro. People are willing to short, but in fact, it might pump. What are your thoughts?
I think short term, anything could happen, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
But the death cross, I don't know. Honestly, what I do know is that I won't be making any trades when the death cross happens, because to me, Bitcoin is already at a low, right? So if this death cross does happen, of course, Bitcoin can get to 15K, it can get to 10K. Worst case scenario, in assuming that the Nasdaq makes the double top. But if the Nasdaq continues to track its all-time high and doesn't make a double top and goes higher, well
Yeah.
then, and you can see, right, this high over here, right, we're very close. If you consider how close the Nasdaq is to its all-time high compared to Bitcoin, it's crazy, right?
Do you think a double top could play out there?
Yeah. Well, that if we come here, right, next few months we make a double top and come here, right, then I think Bitcoin, then I think the Nasdaq can get to 10K in the next year, and then Bitcoin's in big trouble, and that death cross scenario becomes very real. But the but here is the fact that, like, how do I say this? You know, if you're always if you're at the bottom of a market, like we're in a bear market, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a point where a bear realizes that they're nearly at the end of their cycle. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you think back to when we were in the bull market, we were at 50K, we were at 40K, 50K, right? And we were going, oh, we're going to 100K. We got to nearly $70,000, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like we're at 25, we could get to 10, right? But realistically, do I want to be taking that short trade when my long-term belief is that Bitcoin is an incredible asset? It provides consumers and investors with sovereignty over their own money. It's the only real money that exists because it's the only currency in the world that doesn't suffer from perpetual inflation. Is that something that I want to short?
Yeah.
And I ask myself that. It's like, okay, death cross perhaps, but do I want to short this? Maybe not.
So look, I agree with that. Let me just share my screen quickly. You know, you did say you did talk about how we're in a bear market, but if you look from the bottom to where we are now, can you guys see that? See my screen?
Yeah.
If you guys look at the bottom from where we are, let's say to the recent peak, that's a 100% move in almost 240 days. Would you guys not consider that half a year, maybe even more than a year? Would you not consider that a bull market in itself?
Right now, are you talking about this year?
So So from January 2020, from November 2022, when we had that bottom at around 15K, to the peak of 31K of 23rd of July. What is that? November, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's 8 months of bullishness. Do you not consider that a bull market in itself? What do you
I have to say no, because from a macroeconomic point, I mean, of course, I understand you're looking at this from a TA point of view, right? You're saying, okay, the market's moving upwards. We've got more green candles than red candles by a massive proportion over a certain period of time, and that insinuates a bull market, and I get that.
Yes.
But if we take this out and look at the macroeconomic point of view, we had COVID. There was massive stimulus put into the economy. It created massive green candles that shouldn't have been created because money was created. That wasn't real money. People hadn't worked for this money. So when you've got the total money supply in an economy increasing by the level that it was, and labor productivity is on the decline, you end up having a massive surplus of money supply in an economy. Well, what happens, right? Stocks, crypto, everything goes up. That is what caused the 80% collapse. Now, if I look at that and I was to say, okay, say the market didn't over collapse, say it didn't get to 15K and it got to 30K, Bitcoin still collapsed 50%. So to me, I see this movement up as just a bounce, which is occurring as a result in proportion, right, to what happened the year before. To me, this isn't a bull market yet. Another reason why I don't think this is a bull market is because of how the markets are responding to good data, which is being presented by the Fed. So, for example, right now, the Fed, when we're getting data like this week, we got information that jobless claims had reduced, right? Now, in an ordinary market, when jobless claims reduce, the markets pump, right? Because we're going, okay, economic growth is going through the roof, right?
Yeah.
More money, businesses have more money, people are spending more money. In this market, job rates are going down and the markets are dumping. Why? Because we're so concerned. We know that the Fed needs to get interest rates up. They're trying to slow down the economy. And this shows us that the market isn't slowing down. And it's causing the market to dump. So look, from a macro point of view,
finish. No, so my current perspective on Bitcoin, this is the daily chart. you were talking about that little bounce that you think is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm currently thinking. I think we will have that little bounce, really get rid of those shorters, because at this point they think, oh, we just broke trend, it's gonna dump. I do think we're gonna have a little pump up to 29K. A nice, what is that from here? It's a nice, maybe 10% move,
What's really interesting about what you've just said, right, is that if you have that little move, that looks so similar to what we had when we had that. Do you remember when we had that triple top before we got to 69K?
Yeah,
we had a little triple top, and you can see that the middle kind of top was the highest top out of all three. So, like, I don't know. To me, it kind of represents perhaps this idea that you have. Okay, death cross.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking when we see this structure normally. Sorry, let me just go back to it. This is a falling wedge, right, guys? We're all in agreement.
Yeah.
So this falling wedge, normally when you see a falling wedge structure like this, it will equal. Let me try to put this. This, when it breaks, will come back to test that bottom level. So in my opinion, over the next, could be 100 days, could be the next year, I still see Bitcoin coming down 40%, 30 to 40%, at least to test this level, maybe 19, 20K, and even lower, maybe 16K Bitcoin. That's my opinion. If you guys want to share your charts, let me know what you're thinking. That's what I'm hoping for, because I'm building my bags.
I do think that is a very likely scenario. However, I'm not shorting. I'm not longing either, right? But I'm not shorting because.
Can I just say the Bitcoin halving is coming up next year, and now normally when a Bitcoin halving event comes up, the price action seems to have a significant rise. I don't know, like for me, buying Bitcoin now, it makes a lot of sense. Like it's just tokenomics. Like it's just general, like basic tokenomics. Like the supply is going to halve next year. Therefore, the value of each token or each coin should increase. Like
the death cross doesn't scare you at all?
To be honest, like I don't know if it scares me, to be honest. Like I'm not. And look, if Bitcoin does go lower and it goes down to what Fabio is saying, Fabo Crypto, if it does go,
continue, it's okay, lads. Yeah.
If it does go down to 16K, I'm just gonna buy more. Like because Bitcoin has become like. I mean, you guys like. I know you guys like. Oh yeah, the ETF. It's been used. It's come out a lot like recently. I just watched a program on Bloomberg last night, and there's people who are very optimistic that this ETF is going to actually become agreed, and it's going to be in effect in Q1 of 2024. That Bitcoin ETF being approved, as well as the halving, I see Bitcoin next year having a much stronger. I know Bitcoin's done well this year. I know it's gone up like over 50%. It's done well. But I see Bitcoin having a better year next year, and I'm not saying that the price of Bitcoin could go down by the end of this year. I think it could be lower than what it is now by the end of this year, but by the end of next year, I believe the Bitcoin price will be higher than what it is now.
So just
in the long term.
So I'm agreeing with Aiden. I see this death cross as an opportunity to buy. I'm personally hoping for a black swan event. It's very hard to pick the bottoms in crypto, but if you dollar cost average, that is the best strategy that you can use, as crypto is a long-term asset. We're holding long-term. We're not trying to. So personally, I like to hold. I'm buying this for the future, for my kids, Therefore, I'm going to keep buying no matter what.
Can I just say, can you get your chart up on your Bitcoin chart if you can?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I always say is that if you're going to buy Bitcoin, you want to buy it when the RSI on the daily chart is below 30.
Or the weekly even, if you're long term.
Yeah, the weekly as well. Like, yeah, that's probably even better, right? Because the longer the time, the more reliable the indicator, right?
Yeah.
I think the weekly is actually, Aiden, I think that's a really good point. So if you want to change it to a weekly,
look at even the monthly, even though actually look at the monthly. The monthly has always been a good time to buy as an investor, a long-term investor. Just buy when the monthly RSI is below 30. And if you average out every time that you've bought when the RSI is below 30, there's a good chance that you're going to be in profit.
Do you guys prefer stochastic RSI or normal RSI?
Normal RSI is fine.
Normal, okay. So let me remove this one.
I can get it up if it's easier.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, and let me just share my screen. Okay, so here's on the weekly chart, and I'll go monthly just to really show everyone. So look, at the moment, we're at a 46% RSI.
Yeah. So like, is that on the weekly or the monthly?
Monthly.
So for me, that's just not low enough to buy, unfortunately. Like,
To be honest, this is one of the lowest it's ever been since the bottom of January 2019 and the bottom of January 15. April 2015.
yeah, but look at it on the weekly. Look at it on the weekly. Is that low enough to buy? I don't know. Like, is this a good time to buy?
Look, I still think we're going to come down to test these levels, if you guys can see that. So yeah, definitely, I do think we're going to come back to test the 30 area.
You see those before we had the massive bull market in like 2021, 22. Can you see the previous highs? Do you guys think that we're going to come down and test those eventually? Like back in like 20. See the set right before the bull market in 2017, just after that? Yeah. That peak there.
This peak?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you think we're going to come down and test that? It's a big call. It's like $12,000 Bitcoin. I've heard some people have said $12,000 Bitcoin's a possibility. For me, I don't know how. That's like halving in the price. And like,
I tell you, if it hit, I would be one very happy human.
So would I, to be honest. I think that would be. I think that would be. That's when you sell your car, sell your house. You know.
Let's see. Look, if the economy has a recession next year, if Bitcoin ETF gets disallowed and is like that's shut down, there's a possibility that you see Bitcoin. I believe it would be 20K or below. I don't know if it will go down to 12K, but I wouldn't put that out of the question.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking at. If we retest this level, right? Because we only tested it once. If we retest this level, 16K or so, and we break below, Aiden, we could definitely see a 12K Bitcoin. And we could range from 12 to 16K, like we kind of did here. Do you see this downtrend? That would be a very unlikely scenario, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of support for Bitcoin around the 16K, especially from institutions. Bear in mind, you and I were buying Bitcoin around these levels up here. We were retail. You know, the cheapest we've ever seen Bitcoin in our lifetime, besides the 16K bottom, obviously. As of recent times, we're at a great spot. And I personally think that we're going to be going sideways for the rest of the year. I think we'll dump and we'll go sideways. I think we've done quite well with our Bitcoin.
Yeah, let's
Aiden, did you want to look at some alts for the next few minutes or so? If you want to give us some interesting, maybe you can choose 3 alts to show the viewers and tell us why you like them, why you think they're good, and why we should be looking at them.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, I've been looking at this Matic chart, and I mean,
I've seen this.
I saw that too.
This trend here has been a long-term support, right? And we're currently trading on the daily chart. We haven't closed below it. We did close below it for 2 days here, right? And we came up. But if I look at these candles, because to be honest, for me, this chart, it's hard to really do. The TA that I'm looking at is just, if I zoom out here and go to a weekly chart on Matic, right? I'm tracking this long-term trend line as the first level if it breaks, but I've also got this massive support here. So this is from 2021, and we've hit this we've tested this level of support, this green bar, right? So this is my ultimate low. If Matic breaks below this green bar,
Yeah.
that's in free fall for me. Like that Matic could go
Would you
very low, right?
Would you personally short Matic if you see it break that level?
If I see Matic break this level, I would short it for sure. I mean, look.
So can I just say something in advance?
I feel like it'd be one of those ones where if it does break, you'd get a fat red candle of everyone shorting, and then you'd get a little sideways movement, and then it would have an exact opposite. It would be like a Bart Simpson move where it comes straight down, trades sideways for a couple of days, and then just pumps.
Can I ask you, Crypto Aiden, why don't you click on that green line?
Yeah.
And add an alert.
I could do that.
Yeah. So then at least you know, and you won't. Let's say it happens, and you're like, oh shit. Maybe if it doesn't work now, you can do it later. But at least when it happens, you'll be like, oh shit.
Would you recommend, like, say someone who hasn't got into crypto before, would you tell them to take a short on Matic at 54 cents?
For me, I don't know whether I'd be shorting right now. I mean, look, if it does, even though you would short it to here.
You're saying there's no support like to 30 whatever cents, right? 34.
From when you go below from 38 cents, right? And then you drop that. I mean, there is support, but like that's a major support line that you've broken. So I feel like
I think even right now is a major support. Look at that uptrend that we've had. Yeah, if we break below that, that's already it's already going to be in free fall to the green line.
Yeah. So I mean, look, for me, I'm not getting in Matic now. I'm not really looking at this. I'm just going to keep watching it and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I do see this massive wick we had here. So this huge fall off we had here, this wick came all the way down, right? That's a level where I would say if you were going to short it, you would short it to this level. But if you zoom, let's even go on the 4-hour chart, zoom in here. Yeah, so for me, it's a tough one to trade.
Okay. Really. Aiden, are there any other coins that so Matic is on our watch list. So we're seeing if Matic dumps below that price. If Matic doesn't and the market holds up, could be a potential buy zone.
I do want to look at the ETH to BTC. As some of you guys probably heard that there was a Bitcoin ETF filed by Cathie Wood. So Cathie Wood is the CIO of what was it now? Let's get this up.
ARK Invest.
ARK Invest. That's it. ARK Invest, right? So that happened on September the 7th. So literally yesterday, right? And if we look at the ETH to BTC, right? 7th of September. Sorry, let me zoom in here. We have not seen, like, there was a small pump. There's not actually, in fact, on the 7th, there was a red candle. So there was that didn't even affect the strength of Ethereum to Bitcoin at all.
Wow. Which
for me signals that, I mean, for me, that's Ethereum is not showing a whole lot of strength there in terms of buying pressure. Like that's, if that sort of like media news can come out and not do anything, then yeah, I don't see Bitcoin. I mean,
can you bring up Bitcoin dominance data? And I just wanted to see what's happening there.
Yeah. So look, Bitcoin dominance has been rising this whole year. All right. We have tested this support line many times. We've got 1, 2, 3. We're coming down to a 4th test. We're tracking this falling wedge. We're currently coming close to support. So, for me, Bitcoin if this dominance chart keeps coming down, you might see it come and break this upwards resistance trend here. And if it does, we might see Bitcoin come up. And as you say, when Bitcoin does, or if it does go and test the 27K level, you would expect that this is going to coincide with this resistance level being broken here.
So I'm seeing, I just want to show you what I'm seeing. I'm looking at
pull up your chart.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weekly. I already see a break, to be honest. I think from the bottom here, if I want to draw it, I can make it nice or I can make it less nice, whatever. You guys get it. Around this level from 22nd of December, like we had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and I think we've broken down. I think
I agree with you 100%. Can you draw a line though from where we are now to you can see kind of where the end of the red bars that right on the left of your chart, like just a horizontal line almost. Is there not support where we're sitting right now?
So yeah, so on my old charts, I actually did have a support level around here. I'll just draw it in for you guys now. I just made some clean charts.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys, yeah, exactly. So this was quite a serious and a long-term sideways channel that we can see here, ranging all the way from April 2021. I do think that we could break back into this channel, and I do think we'll see some sideways action from Bitcoin. We've already had like almost 100% pump in the market. I do think coming back into this level would prove to be better for Bitcoin in the long term so that the pump can be bigger, if you know what I mean. But I do not think that the money will be flowing into alts. I think that the money will be going back into the USDT. If we look at the Dixie on the weekly chart, that is very bullish in my opinion. The big bull flag. You know, we just had a breakout and the Dixie is looking like the most bullish indicator out there. So the Dixie is the dollar index and how strong the US dollar is in the overall market. So from this bull flag, I do think that we're going to come back up. And in saying this, when the dollar pumps, then Bitcoin and stocks, alts are all going to come crashing down slowly. This is the weekly as well, meaning that if I go on a shorter time frame, we'll see similar structure, but still very, very bullish. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Dixie, guys, on this pump?
Yeah, well, I mean,
because
as you can see, like that's a long-term trend. Well, sorry, that's a daily chart.
When this is the daily. So if I draw from here when we actually did start falling, so that's almost been a year, 300 days almost of the dollar index crashing, and now we see a major bounce. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And if anyone wants to pull up the chart,
yeah, like, again, really does depend on US interest rates and what the Fed starts to do. If there is another raise in interest rates, this is going to go higher because international investors are going to look to the US markets for strong returns on their equity. However, if the Fed does pivot, then I'm not sure that this technical analysis can stand on its own, right?
Yeah.
But considering the macro factors, which I think they are anticipating a 74% chance of an increase in the next Fed meeting as of this Tuesday. If that is to be correct, then I mean this technical analysis here is perfectly aligned with that belief, right?
Yeah. Look, nothing's guaranteed, but I'm seeing a bear flag on Bitcoin. I'm seeing a bull flag on the dollar index, and I just see a bearish market at the moment. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm a perma bear at the moment. Not sure. Only the market will tell. But yeah, lads. I'm pretty happy with our first show, guys. I think this is us signing off.
Yeah, I think good first stream. You know, we're gonna keep improving. You know, so our viewers, if you've tuned in for the first stream, you know, welcome, and we're going to be going for a long time, and you'll see the progression over time. You know, we're just starting off.
Yes,
a few
sir.
Technical difficulties. You know, we don't have the glitz and glamour yet that some of the other big shows have, but that's where we start. We're starting low, and we're going to build it up, and we just want to bring you honest insights. You know, we're just here to provide education at the end of the day. We're not here to tell you guys what to do. We're just trying to show what we're thinking, what the market's telling us, what the news events are. We're just basically reporting and educating to you guys, and then you guys can go and make your own informed decisions along with your own research. But, it's been a pleasure, boys. Good first live. Awesome. Can't complain. You know, we'll come back next week with a couple different outfits. We might keep switching them up for every show and make it interesting. But anything else you guys want to add or not?
yeah, just wanted to say, guys, we are providing no financial advice whatsoever. We're solely looking at our own opinions of the market. We're not providing any trading advice. We are here just to give our outlook. And we just, yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. This is our first stream. And cheers, guys.
Yeah, we'd like to sponsor this stream by Restream, our official streaming provider of the live stream today. So thanks to Restream, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next show.
Ciao.